Right, hi guys, my name's Jamie Seal. I'm from Axis Martial Arts down in Portsmouth now. We moved away from rugby, to be fair. So yeah, now we're relocated in Portsmouth. We're going to be hosting lessons in Clanfield, Waterlooville, probably like Fratton and Portsmouth area as well. We're just sorting that out at the moment. But yeah, we've only been here about a week and we've already got quite a few different venues. What I wanted to look at today was different sort of ways of like knife concealment, dulo concealment, different bits and pieces. And show a pretty cool trick which is useful for when you're out in public. So the first thing I kind of want to describe is, like, we talk a lot about knife deployment and stuff, so having it from the hip, pulling it from the inside of your jacket, taking it out from your pocket, having it on a right hand sort of hip mount when it's on a belt loop. I really don't like this chest one that you see a lot of people do, because it's too easy to just take it and then use the weapon against them. But rather than deploying it, you could think of it much in the sense of you're going to keep it concealed in your hands. So if you've got someone that's actually causing a problem, they're being quite aggressive, giving you a lot of shit, then you can be like, look mate, try and de-escalate. If they then pull a weapon, I haven't got to take it from my hip, it's already there, like literally, so I've got it in position in my hand. The key thing is I don't want to escalate the situation, so when I'm talking I want to keep it sort of quite close to me, hide the fact that I'm holding something. I don't want to be like, look, if you fucking start, I'm going to draw my knife. I want to keep it in a position where I'm keeping it sort of covered, like literally, or in my hand. So I'm like, okay, look, I understand there's a bit of an issue here, but let's just let it go. It's not worth escalating. If they then escalate, I haven't got to reach for my hip, I haven't got to reach for my pocket or anything like that. It's just already there. So all I've got to do then is just literally deploy the knife and it's fine. I tightened this one recently, like literally, so yeah, it's not deploying quite as quickly as I'd like it to. But if you've got a folder and it's not too tight, then like I said, once it's concealed in your hand, all you got to do is literally just release it and it's there. In the UK, like literally, obviously you're not allowed to carry knives, locking knives or anything like that. So I generally use the same sort of thing if I was using a dulo. So if I put this down for a sec. Say if I've got something like a EDC pen or something like that, then it's the same concept. All right mate, I don't want any issue, like look, we don't need to fight, there doesn't need to be an issue here. Then if I need to, it's there and it's ready. I can hook, I can strike, I can use my dulo. This is much more practical. Even down to that, EDC pens, again, not particularly legal in the UK. If you get caught with that, using it for self-defense, you're probably gonna get questioned about it. My personal favorite, Night Cause. This is an EDC 29. Alex actually got an EDC 35. She wants to get a Wooburn 12,000 at the moment, but I think that'll melt everyone's eyes. With a flashlight, simple concept, flash, bash, and then dash. So you can literally, you flash them with the high lumens. So this is 6,500. That's about 4 and a bit times more bright than my car full beam headlights, which is a BMW, so they're pretty powerful. So like I said, all I have to do, same concept. Okay mate, I don't want any issue. Look, we don't need to fight, there doesn't need to be any issue. This time I haven't even got a blade or anything in my hand, it's just a flashlight. Look, I don't want a problem. Then if he starts, bang, and I can deal with him. Okay, like literally getting hit with the hard hammer of this flashlight is gonna hurt like fuck. I tell my students a lot of the time, if I'm gonna hit, you can see when I'm hitting Bob, I'm going for the eye. Like literally, if I bust this eyebrow, they're going to bleed, then they're going to bleed into their eye, much like it happens to boxers, makes their vision even more obscured. So it's quite a useful technique really, using an attack flashlight. And then the other option is if you've got something like a pry bar or an EDC tool. I tend to carry this Gratius. It has, it's like a 10-in-1 multi-tool. It's got a pen, it's got a ratchet, it's got a screwdriver, it's pry bars, bottle opener, like spanner, so it does quite a lot of things, but it's got this nice beveled edge on it. So again, I could just be like, look mate, I don't want a problem, there's no reason for us to have an issue here, like literally. And then if they get aggressive, all I've got to do is deploy the EDC tool. That's so solid that aside from anything else, that would break his jaw. You can see it's left a mark on Bob where I've gone in here, like literally, and that's exactly the thing that would do quite a lot of damage. But again, just a simple EDC tool. So yeah, I think it's quite important a lot of the time not to escalate. I hear a lot of the guys being like, oh well, I need to have sort of right hip deployment, or I need to have it on my left, or I need to have it like hidden in my belt loop and like literally covered over in my belt. I need to have it behind me, I need to have it up here. But why bother standing there and battling to deploy your weapon when you could literally just have it in your hand? Okay mate, look, I don't want a problem, there's no issue here. Oh okay, you're gonna be a dick, bang, like literally, and then you're in the position where it's already there. You don't have to deploy it, it's already in position. So I think that's the first part of what I want to talk about, concealment. But the key thing is kind of like de-escalate. Don't stand there a lot of the time, be like, all right, and like literally try and cause issues because you know that you've got a tool. This isn't going to save you, it's a last resort, it's for self-defense. So yeah, that's kind of the first part that I wanted to cover with this video. Right, the next section of the video that I wanted to discuss was a pretty cool tactic that I came across, which is if you need to be able to conceal your weapon when you're out in public. So say if you're in Costa and you're with your wife and your daughter, and you pull up the car and you see them get out, and then as they go into Costa, you see like 2 or 3 young lads look like they're quite hyped up, causing issues. They start like making fun and jeering them. So you think, right, how am I going to actually deal with this situation? So an easy way of, or an easy method of doing this is going to a trash can and picking up something like this. Like a McDonald's bag or a Costa bag or anything like that. If I've got this, these are readily available. They'll be in all of the bins around a fast food joint, really easy to pick up. I just go over there, get whatever my tool is, could be Dulo. For this demonstration, I'm going to use a fixed blade, literally. And then you simply place your knife in a reverse grip in the McDonald's bag. Now I can go in, I can talk to my wife or talk to my my sort of the people that are around me. Be like, you okay? How's everything going? You all right, mate? Like literally make it known that I'm there. And then if they then try and instigate a problem or one of them tries to do something, then all I've got to do is that, like literally. And from that position, you can see the blade is concealed in the bag. No one would ever even know that you had it. So you're not raising alarm, you're not causing an issue, and everything is concealed within that bag. Obviously, this is a bit of a bad tactic. Like, I wouldn't advise you to use this in the UK if you were, because you shouldn't be carrying a knife in the first place. But you could do the same thing if you had a Dulo, conceal it in the bag, and you've still got something that you can use, and they won't know what's hit them. So this is a pretty neat trick for being able to make sure that you're keeping yourself and everyone around you safe, while making sure that you're still in that position where you don't have to deploy the weapon. It's already in a position where it doesn't raise any suspicion. They can look at it, people will just think you've got your order, everything's fine, and then if it kicks off, you're ready. So I like this trick. It doesn't matter whether it's a McDonald's bag, whether it's like Hobo's whiskey bag, whether it's literally a Costa bag. This is a really good way of being able to deploy your weapon and also maintain awareness and not have to worry about, oh, I've got to pull it out and do whatever I've got to do. Like I said, don't do this in the UK. Fixed blades aren't illegal in the UK, but yeah, you're never going to get away with doing this. It would have to be like your military or law enforcement, or law enforcement is probably even a questionable one there. But it's a cool trick that I picked up from the combatives community. So like I said, that's good. The one thing I would advise, the reason I'm using a fixed blade is because I wouldn't want to use something like a Victorinox or a standard sort of Swiss Army knife. The issue with this, and the reason that I'm keeping my fingers clear, is because you can see if I slightly hit off center, there's no locking mechanism in that. That's not going to stick. That's going to close on my fingers and cause me some real issues. So don't use a Victorinox. This is a tool. It's not designed to be a self-defense implement or anything like that. It's just purely for cutting string and basic stuff, maybe carving wood. You could use a locking knife in the same sense, like literally. But again, generally I'd say fixed blade if you're going to use this tactic. Anything that's got these little finite bits of metal, like this little spring locking mechanism in here, I wouldn't rely on this to take too much damage before it snapped and then the blade closed on your fingers. And again, you don't want that. So fixed blades. But yeah, it's a really cool tactic that I came across, which I thought, I was discussing it in the LKC group, Lightning Kali Combatives group yesterday, run by Edison Peña, or Peña. And I was saying that I was going to do a video about this. So yeah, this is exactly it. It's a cool tactic. Another good tactic is using pepper. If you go into a fast food restaurant, you find little sachets of pepper, you're being pursued by some people, just put some of that pepper in your hand. If they then instigate a fight or they start something, all you've got to do is open their eyes, slam the pepper in their face, and they won't be able to see for about 8 to 12 hours. After that, it's like getting sand in your eyes, but a lot worse. But it's a useful tactic that you can implement in your day-to-day life, just around town, or if you go into a fast food restaurant. So yeah, like I said, concealed carry in a McDonald's bag. Right, so the last section of this video that I wanted to discuss is if you're carrying a bag. Could be something like this, a sports bag. This is actually one of Alex's. But if you're walking along at night and you're a bit concerned, don't feel like you're in a particularly safe area, I put my keys in the front pocket, and then I can put my blade in here so I can keep it concealed. If I then need to use it, it's really easy to deploy because it's already in my hand. I don't need to stand there and think about deploying it from my wrist, doing it. This is more for women, I'd say, as long as you've got a handbag that's got something like this in it. If you need to go up to your car and you need to be able to get into the car quick, you've got your keys here as well, so you can access them quite quickly. And then if you need to defend yourself, you've got your blade there. Again, can't carry knives in the UK, but dulo or even stuff like UV dyes and sprays, they're quite, generally, it's not a good idea to advise them for self-defense because you're only tagging them, you're not doing them too much damage. But as long as you've got something like a flashlight, same sort of thing. If you can conceal your self-defense tool in there, the equalizer, and then you've got your keys here, you're ready to implement the tool, you're ready to access your door, access your car, whatever you need to, and everything's literally in position right there, and it doesn't look suspicious. I could be like, oh, you're right, mate, how's it going? Yeah, everything's fine. If I need to shake someone's hand, just drop the knife. Yeah, you're right, mate, how's it going? Everything's in position where I don't need to worry about it. If I need to get it again, bam, it's there, like literally. So it's a pretty useful tactic specifically for women. This is more what Alex will be teaching with the reality hurt side of it and stuff like that for the women's RBSD. But like I said, I've got everything ready. Get in my door, get in my car, defend myself, like literally. So this is again a really useful tactic for concealment. Keep it here, like I said, keys in the front, now I'm good, like literally. Defend, access. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the knife concealment stuff. I came across it within the combatives community recently, and I thought, yeah, that's some genius stuff. It's a really good idea. You don't want to stand there, because as soon as I get into a position where I draw this knife and I'm like, right, now it's weapon versus weapon, it's game on, there's no element of surprise, which isn't really very ninjutsu, is it? So this is exactly the thing. Start thinking about the way that you implement these aspects. It's all well and good doing kata and waza and stuff like that, but is it realistic? Am I going to stand there and do this big chino kata with this big no, you're not going to do that. It's not reality. Like, this is exactly the thing. I think a lot of the guys in the ninjutsu community specifically delude themselves about how Tanto Jutsu works. I know this from the Filipino martial arts side of it, doing Kali. Knife fighting's quick, it's vicious, it's aggressive. All of this over exaggerated movement or stepping through, you're just going to get yourself killed. It's not going to work. So don't do that bullshit. Okay, don't do big sort of overextended kata and stupid stuff. You want to look at the realistic application scenarios and how you can actually implement it in a simple way. That's why I started getting involved with the combative stuff, because it makes sense. It's not all bullshit. So thank you for watching. Like, literally, thank you for going actually taking the time to sort of learn these techniques. I want to thank Tom for a lot of the stuff that he's taught me with the Filipino dagger. Like, going through Kali and the stuff that I've been doing in the past couple of years with Tom Edison Peña has just been phenomenal. I've learned loads of different techniques. My knife fighting game, it exponentially got better. And then with looking at the scenario-based training, the combatives, it gives you a much more well-rounded perspective. It's like I said, I love ninjutsu, I love the historical aspects of it, but Tanto Jutsu specifically just does not make any sense. Like, what is this? Why would you ever do this? This is not a Jodanuki. This is you getting stabbed in the gut. No one's going to stand there and do that. Or even these overextended blocks, they're just literally going to come in with a cut, you'll hit it, and they'll just slice down your arm. Like, literally, it doesn't work. It's not realistic. Real knife fighting has to be practical. I'll just add one more aspect which is quite important about this, okay, because I've seen this with Tommy and a few of the other guys. Right, if I'm in this position, generally it's going to be one-on-one, okay? If it's me versus one person and I'm using the knife, okay? If I'm in this position, it's me versus 2-3 people. I'm going to make sure that I'm keeping the weapon close to me so that I can then control, bang, and get in there quick. It's a really key thing, because I see a lot of people doing these really, like, over-exaggerated kamae, and it's got no practical application whatsoever. It comes down to the old thing of keep it stupid simple, or keep it simple stupid. You need to look at the way where you can teach someone like a 40-year-old mother who needs to know how to protect her kids like that, in a quick way, in a realistic way. All this stuff where it's just like, it doesn't work. It's too overextended, and by the time you've gone into kamae, you've been stabbed 8-9 times. So let's keep it real. I know people get really funny about knife fighting. The reason that I focus a lot on the Tanto Jutsu is because in the UK, this is what criminals use all day, every day. You don't come across guns, but you will come across knives. So you need a good knife fighting game. And even just to be able to disarm them and go through different bits and pieces. But again, it's a complex subject. Do you have a strong defense game, or is your offense your defense? I tend to find that my offense is a better defense. If they're coming at me and I cut their hands and I slice in, do gunting and attack, doing the scissors, that's much better than these stupid static blocks where they can then readjust and stab me. Even from a kenjutsu perspective, kuden. Okay, every time I cut, I stab. And then in Tantojutsu, you literally just expect that they're going to cut and stop. Doesn't make any sense. Test it. Do scenario-based training. I'm going off on a different debate now. But thank you for watching the video. If you've got any questions or you want to see me do any more videos, drop me a message.